Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to a new and spectacular tournament that started today. Welcome to the Wimbledon of chess tournaments. Welcome to the Tata Steel Masters in 2024. So this super event is a one round robin of 13 rounds. So we'll see now 14 players battling it out in classical time format chess. Among them really strong players like Ian Nepomniachtchi, Dingler and the world champion is here. Rameshbabu Praggnanandhaa, Gukesh, Nodirbek Abdusatorov, Alireza Firuza and many more will battle it out, will try to win this first very great tournament in 2024. Unfortunately for the chess community, Magnus Carlsen is not playing, Hikaru is also not playing. I think the chess community would love to see the clash between the former and the current world champion, between Magnus and Dingler, and unfortunately that's not going to happen because, as we mentioned many times, Magnus Carlsen is not motivated to play so many of this classical time format chess tournament, so we should respect the decision. But we're starting still with a very strong tournament in 2024. So from the first round, I've picked up a really cool game. We have here Max Warmerdam against Ian Nepomniachtchi. I think the game that you see now is really spectacular, but it's also very instructive for you because if you're bothered maybe with your play against d4, I think this is a perfect choice. You see here really the perfect defense by Ian Nepomniachtchi against d4. So let's see now what happened. With the white pieces, Max Warmerdam open with the move d4. I have to just adjust some settings here with my sound. Okay, everything is fine. So after move d4, Ian Nepomniachtchi response was knight to f6. We have c4, e6. Now we have knight to f3, the anti-Nimzo or counter-Nimzo Indian setup, not allowing to get pinned after potential knight to c3. We have d5, transposition into the Queen's Gambit decline, 3 knights variation of the Queen's Gambit decline, and we have here the Vienna variation of the Queen's Gambit decline here by Ian Nepomniachtchi. In my opinion, a really strong opening this is because in the beginning, it creates already an asymmetrical and imbalanced structure, which gives opportunities here for white and for black to make something. So many times you see also winning games by black. So in my opinion, this is a perfect opening for an attacker like, of course, Ian Nepomniachtchi for sure is. So after move c4, now Max Warmerdam occupies the center with the move e4. We have b5. You can, of course, also play the move bishop to b4, but this opening leads into a different sideline that's even more dynamic. I've covered this Vienna variation of the Queen's Gambit decline in many of my studies. You can also check it out and have a great preparation in this types of positions. So here's the link of our playlist. Please check it out, and I think you can have really a nice understanding of this particular position. So now bishop to b4 and b5 are main lines. Here Nepo played this move b5. He already won one game against Magnus Carlsen in this particular opening line with the black pieces, believe me or not. So Nepo is the master of this particular sideline, which gives, of course, here Max Warmerdam the opportunity to hit the knight and also then to take the pawn back. And it seems so that this structures c7 c4, this double pawn structure, could be warnable in the next couple of moves, but there is a different idea about this sideline, because after move knight to b6 that of course Nepo is playing, protecting the pawn on c4, white is also left with a backward pawn on d4. So there is a structural weakness also now in white's position. So now there is a clear target also for black where to attack, and also there is a defensive idea. The blockade idea always around the square d5 could be also useful. And what the cool part is also for black, and it's the main strength of this opening with the black pieces, is that black is continuing then the game with the most powerful bishop on b7. So after move knight to b6, we have bishop to e2 by Max Warmerdam, we have knight to c6 by Nepo, and now bishop to e3. I myself faced many times this opening. I like to play here after kingside castle, queen to d2 and queen to f4. I saw this line by Dingler, and Dingler played this line very often, is also a very strong player with the white pieces in this types of position. But here Max Warmerdam plays a different idea. Bishop to e3 fixes simply the pawn on d4. We have bishop to e7, knight to c3 here by Max Warmerdam, and now bishop to b7. Now the monster bishop comes into the game, and you see now how Nepo will use the strength of this best minor piece on the board. After bishop to b7, a3, knight to a5 by Nepo, hitting the b3 weakness. Also, in some lines, the d3 could be useful, as in black's perspective. You can maybe try to occupy the d3, maybe with your minor pieces, because there is a clear hole in white camp here, for sure. So after move knight to a5, queen to c2, queen to d7, rook to d1, supporting the backward pawn that we have talked about at the beginning, the main weakness in white's position. And of course, in some lines, even if possible, preparing the move d5. d5 would then be the liberating move, if you can of course do it in a good way. Then of course d5 would simply open the position and maybe endanger the queen here on the d file. We have f5. This is a good move. This is a move, I think, that's must know theory in black's position in this particular sideline. f5 seems dangerous because Max Warmerdam, of course, took e takes f6 en passant, because if you don't react, then with h6 g5, I don't know, g4 f4 h4 and similar stuff, black would have, I think, great attacking chances, especially with the support of the light square bishop. I think this is devastating and handle for black. So that's why e takes f6 en passant, g takes f6, which of course clears now the g file. And you notice now, with the support of the rook on g8 and with the support of the bishop on b7, there is an obvious threat around pardon me, around the square g2, and this could be really hard to handle here for white. And Max Warmerdam already doesn't react correctly. He plays now the move knight to e4, which is not good, and here actually black is even slightly better. This move is bad because it gives here simply too much dependency between the queen and the knight. Here Nepo uses this moment immediately with queen to a4. A better choice, instead of this move knight to e4, was to play knight to d2. Knight to d2, I think, is a line that actually white should know by heart here, because after something like bishop takes g2, it seems dangerous to play like this, but then you have this one. Rook to g1 kicks away the bishop, bishop drops back, and now with bishop to h5, king to d8, I think this is non-pleasant now also game to handle here for black, because the rook is coming now on the 7th rank. You have lost the privilege of castling, so in my opinion, not a good continuation here for black. After move knight to d2, you could maybe castle queenside, but now after kingside castling and rook to g8, you just compete against this bishop on b7 with the move bishop to f3, and I think white would solve many tactical problems with this maneuver, knight to d2 and then bishop to f3. I think this is the way to go. Has been played in one game that I found in the database. We have here Packer against Bronstein. White won the game, so in my opinion, this is a line that's very good also here for white. So after move knight to e4, this is not good, because here in one game also that I found in the database, queenside castling was played, but Nepo plays the best way here, queen to a4. Notice that the queen is always stuck a little bit to the defense of the knight on e4. That's why Max Warmerdam dropped back, because if you play here queen to a4, then you're inviting basically your opponent's knight into the game. b2 is weak. You can maybe try knight to c5, bishop to c5, d takes c5, bishop to d5 is now working, knight takes b2. So I think black will solve again all of the positional problems, and again here black should be slightly better. So that's why after move queen to a4, Max Warmerdam dropped back to b1. Now Nepo castle. We have knight to c5, bishop takes, d takes, and now knight to d5. The knight becomes a powerful piece here in the center of the board. And what we should notice now, c3 in some lines is a possibility. And the problem for white in this particular position is that you cannot kick away this knight with your pawns. You don't have pawns in order to make any attack against the knight, so the knight is really fixed here on the best score, or here simply in the center of the board. So knight to d5, very good move here by Nepo. Kingside castling, rook from d to g8, of course hitting now the g file. And now again, Max Warmerdam doesn't react correctly. He plays a move that weakens his structure further, which creates new unbalanced positions here on the king side. A better choice was simply to include the queen into the game. Seems dangerous to get your queen in front of the bishop, but actually also there is a problem for black to handle. You have to first of all protect here the pawn with rook to e8 or queen to e8. You don't have time to create any attacking chances, you have this vulnerable square in your camp. So that's why g3 not the optimal move, in here Nepo takes over, and now of course the huge threat is rook to h4, and then after something like knight to h4, rook takes h4 would be then a possibility, because you cannot take because of this other rook that's attacking here the g file. So here we have rook to d4. If you play here knight to d4, then h4 again works. White can even, I think, go for this pawn on e6, but still it's very dangerous. Look at this, h takes g3, h takes g3, knight to f4, very dangerous already. Checkmate threats around the square h1, so in my opinion also not a good continuation. So that's why rook to d4, play by Max Warmerdam, trying of course to hold the position around the square h4, tries of course to protect the square. We have queen to c6 by Nepo. Look how Nepo is directing the game here. He is now having this beautiful queen and bishop battery, and now I think black is very much better here. I would not love to play anymore this game from white's perspective. Rook to h4, Warmerdam of course creates a blockade, it's not allowing this move h4 to happen. We have knight to e3 by Nepo, f takes e3, and now rook to g4, a brilliant move here by Nepo, because rook takes g4 is not working, because after a takes g4 you have to step back with your knight, and then the queen and the bishop battery is devastating here to handle for white. So that's why here after rook to g4, queen to c1, again not the optimal choice here by white. Maybe queen to c2 is slightly better, because you don't get attacked with knight to b3 here. You see now the difference. Queen to c2 would be slightly better, but I would say still black is much better in this position, because still after rook to h4, g takes h4, knight to b3, you have to step back. Now the knight is coming into the game, knight to e4, rook to g8 is going to happen. Maybe in some lines white can survive this attack, but obviously black is much better. So here queen to c1 was played, which is worst because of rook takes h4, again g takes h4. You cannot of course take with the knight because of this tactical problems that we have talked about, but now knight to b3 comes with an extra tempo. Queen to c2, that's why it's slightly better, but still in any lines black is better. Queen to c3, knight takes c5, queen takes f6, and now rook to g8 this check, king to h1, queen to e4, and after rook to g1, trying to compete here on the g file. Here Nepo played rook to d8, and in this particular position Max Warmerdam resigned. There is always this kind of problems. Even rook to d2 is working, hitting the bishop. You cannot take because of this this pressure. Knight to d3, knight to f2 is possible. So any line I think is here perfectly fine for black. This is simply too much pressure, and it was I think a fair resign here by Max Warmerdam. So Nepo won his first game with the black pieces. Congratulations, great game, instructive game. Here Nepo played without inaccuracies, mistakes, or blunders. I think this is a perfect example how to play the Vienna variation of the Queen's Gambit Decline. So as I said, if you are interested more into this opening, please check out our Queen's Gambit Decline series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you want to see some other commented chess games, check out our commented chess games, but also our commented chess games played by computer series. Here are the other links, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.